but you made it like a story, like events, short events. It's very nice. Is it on purpose because you wanted a book that is really close to everybody? Everybody can read it, big, young, and older. Or is it you? Is it your is it your personality that is really implied in this book?
Well, I think there's a little bit of both. There is very much, it's part of me. I like to have fun with things. I like to have fun with serious things as well, especially when they're serious, because sometimes it's the only way you can talk about them.
Yeah.
So you take something that normally, if you mention it, people might get upset, but you approach it in a certain way, and you make it something that everyone can enjoy. So I like that about it. And I also wanted a book that everyone could read, and everyone could get something from, foreigners, Lebanese, young or old. So I thought maybe humor was the easiest way of doing that.
Yeah, and I think it was a very successful thinking.
Thank you.
Because it's a book that conveys all the important things of Lebanon, but in a very simple and funny way. كنت عم بقول إنه وارن كتب بكتابه بأسلوب سهل ومضحك، ولكن كنا عم بيحكي عن أمور كتير مهمة مثل تاريخ لبنان، مثل بيئة لبنان، مجتمع لبنان، الأمور كتير مهمة. سألته إذا هذا لأنه هو حب إنه يكون كتاب بمتناول الجميع أو هذا هو شخصيته حب يحطها بكتابه، وقال الاثنين. وهو هذا طريقته وقت بده يحكي عن أمور كتير جدية ومهمة بيستعمل الأسلوب المضحك، لأنه بهالطريقة طريقة سلسة إنه يقطع رسائل الكتير مهمة، وهذا الشيء موجود أكيد بالكتاب. You talk about Beirut being the most ancient city, one of the most ancient cities, and in a very funny way, but smart, witty way, you say how it's older than maybe Egyptian cities.
Yes.
And you speak also about food and drink, which I think is one of the most important culture in Lebanon. Because
Absolutely.
Where are you going? I'm going to have a drink. Where are you going? I'm going to the restaurant. In Lebanon, we like to have fun. We like to eat. We like to drink. This question is of two parts.
Okay.
How do you know that, and from where did you get all the information about all your historical issues in the book, like saying that Beirut is older than an Egyptian city, and about the food and drink? What do you think? Is it enough for Lebanese to stick to?
Is it enough? No, I don't think it's enough, but it doesn't have to be, because Lebanon has so much else that people can be proud of, that people can talk about, that people can know about. It's a very rich country, much more than history and just food and drink. But as you say, it's a very important part. How did I find out? Through 13 years of being here, talking to people, reporting for the magazines, reading books, seeing films, doing research, things that people tell me that I think, oh, that's interesting, I want to know more, and I try and find out more about it. How did I find out about the food and drink? That was through eating.
Through eating.
Through eating. And all of this is all Lebanon.
Ah, you were thinner.
I was thin. I was like this when I came to Lebanon.
You know, it's the problem of all foreigners when they come to Lebanon. A week after, they have a belly, and then, oh, your food is so nice. But it makes Lebanon what it is.
It makes Lebanon what it is. I mean, it's so much fun. You know, you go, you sit with friends, you have a long lunch, you talk, you drink, you eat, you talk,
which we cannot find in Europe.
Which you can't find in Europe anymore.
You don't have time, and there's no more time for communication.
Exactly, and that's such a beauty. That's such a... People take it for granted because it's their life. This is what they know. But when you don't have that every day, when that's a rare thing, it becomes a treasure. And there are so many things I think about Lebanon that, for me, coming in as an outsider, they are precious because it's possible here, because it exists here. And people here, because it's their life, they think it's like that everywhere, and it's normal, but it isn't.
It's nice. كان عم بيقول إنه أشياء أمور بسيطة نحن بنعيشها يوميا بلبنان، بنفكرها إنه خلص إنه هي لأنه صارت يومياتنا ما عندها قيمة، مثل إنه ناكل ناخذ وقتنا على الغداء مع أصحابنا مع عائلتنا ونحكي مع بعضنا. عم بيقول إنه هيدا من أهم الأمور، لأنه هيدا أشياء ما بنلاقيها باوروبا او ببلدان اخرى كله على السريع وما في وقت، ما في وقت للتواصل، ما في العائله، يمكن ما في الاصدقاء اللي بنلاقيها بلبنان. وعم بيقول لي انه قد ايه هيدا شيء مهم، انه هو لانه منه لبناني بيقدرها وبيعيشها وبيستفيد منها يوميا، ومع انه اللبناني ما بيقدرها ويمكن بضلوا ينق انه هيدا اشياء مش مهمه، وهيدا امور يمكن عم بيفتح لنا عيوننا عليها مهمه. وعم بيقول لي كمان انه الاكل والشرب حكي عنهم، ولانه من 13 سنه لليوم عم بيقول لي قد ايه بياكل ونصح، بس هذا الشيء بحبه لانه جزء من لبنان ومنه ما بيلاقيه غلط. والامور التاريخيه اللي حكي عنها بكتابه امور لانه هو مراسل وصحافي اكيد كان عنده مراجع كثيره وسال حوله الناس وقدر يوصل لها اكيد. We know that there are much more Lebanese outside Lebanon than there are in Lebanon, and I think through your visits to many countries before you came to Lebanon, I think maybe you knew a lot of Lebanese outside. That's why you talk in your book about the Lebanese diaspora. Tell us more. How are Lebanese when they're not in their country? Are they the same, or are they different? Do they try to adapt themselves to the country where they are, or in the bottom, يعني deeply they still they stick to being Lebanese?
That's a complicated question. I think there's a bit of both. I think you can find certain Lebanese communities where it's all about Lebanon. It's about Fayrouz, and it's about the mountains, and it's about tabbouleh, and it's about hummus, and that's their life. Doesn't matter where they are. But then you have other Lebanese who have adapted so completely to where they're living that they're indistinguishable from the people who live there. I lived in Brazil for 3 years.
There are a lot of
and there are so many Lebanese in Brazil. I didn't know then. I had no idea.
You thought they were Brazilians?
They were Brazilians. They behaved like Brazilians. I had Lebanese teachers at school.
And you never knew they were
But I never knew they were Lebanese. Now I know because of their surnames. I had a teacher called Haddad. Of course, she's Lebanese. She's from this part of the
Later,
world.
when you came here, you knew.
When I came here, I knew. I ate kibbeh for the first time in Brazil. I thought it was Brazilian food. When I came here and someone served me kibbeh for the first time, I said, "Oh, you eat Brazilian food? That's really nice." And they looked at me and they said, "This is not Brazilian food. This is Lebanese food. This is the number one Lebanese dish." But you see, they'd assimilated so well that you have no idea.
بيحكي كثير بكتابه ورن عن اللبنانيين، الجاليات اللبنانيه الموجوده برات لبنان، وهو عايش بالبرازيل. وسالته اذا اللبنانيه حسهم برا يعني تكيفوا بالبلد وين هن وخلص اخذوا هويه البلد اللي عايشين فيه، او بلاقي انه بضلوا متمسكين بوطنهم. قال لي اثنين، لانه حتى بالبرازيل ما كان يعرف انه حتى كان في يعني اساتذه معه بالجامعه لبنانيه علموه، هو مفكرهم برازيليه. ناس لبنانيه عزموه على يعني ياكل عندهم، طعموه كبه، فكر انه الكبه برازيليه، ما عرف هالشيء الا ما رجع على لبنان. يعني اللبناني بيتكيف كثير وين ما هو، ومثل كانه بيجيب لبنان على البلد وين هو موجود، وبصير عايش بلبنان الصغير ببلد غير لبنان. وهذا كثير مزبوط. واللبنانيين ولا مره وين ما هن موجودين الا ما بيتركوا اثار كثير كبيره. In the book there are some illustrations, very nice ones, and from Sinan Halak, the Lebanese illustrator. How was the cooperation? And we feel that the style of the illustration is very funny. And it's not a serious.
No, not at all.
How did you cooperate with Sinan?
Well, Sinan is very talented. He's a very talented illustrator, and he was a delight to work with. He was very easy. Basically, I was writing the chapters. I would send the chapters to him, and then I trusted him enough that I let him decide what he thought was easiest for him to do as a drawing. He would let me know. We would discuss it a little bit, and then he would go ahead and do it. But I loved his style. I loved his approach. And I felt he really understood the book.
رسومات من سنان هلاك واكيد كثير حلوين، وقدروا كمان يظهروا كل شيء هو حابب، يعني الروح المضحكه. So this book is for Lebanese or for foreigners? Because this is my last question and we don't have time.
Sure.
And what is your last message for the Lebanese people?
I think this book is for everybody, Lebanese or foreign. And if I have a message for the Lebanese, I'm not the person to give a message to the Lebanese, but if I have one, it's that you have one of the most beautiful countries on earth. It's one of the most interesting countries on earth, and I hope it always will be.
Thank you, and we hope we will stay here and write more books about Lebanon.
I hope so too.
Thank you very much, Warren Singh Bartlett, and I hope we will see you again on our TV.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
مشاهدينا الكرام انا بقول لكم بون ويك اند، انا حكمل العيد هالويك اند كله، بشوفكم نهار الثلاثاء وبقول لكم بون ويك اند.